Hi, this is Shahzeb Khan and you are watching the official channel of Pakistan's people-led disaster management. I am making this video because our northern areas might be headed towards war or at least military confrontation. Tensions between Pakistan and India have risen after India's unilateral annexation of Kashmir. More recently, in the same region, in the Himalayas, India and China have been engaged in border clashes. Things are heating up in the roof of the world, and in Pakistan's share of that roof, our military might be deployed there more in the near future. If that happens, a major concern for us will be the extreme environmental conditions and natural hazards that exist in the mountainous areas, which make it a challenge for people to survive there. Our military has long been going through the worst of these at Siachen, a large glacier in the disputed border in Kashmir. Pakistani troops have been stationed there for decades, and all the time, even without combat, we have regularly suffered casualties from the lack of oxygen, the extreme cold, the avalanches, the landslides, the crevices in the ice, and so much more. It's a big problem for us, and if more troops get sent to high altitude areas, they'll deal with the same concerns. This is purely a military issue, and our military is equipped to handle disaster risks. But I am motivated to make this video on the basis of an experience I once had in my ancestral village in northern Punjab, bordering Azad Kashmir. There I met a family whose son had been deployed to Siachen. He was 24 years old. He was about to get married, so they built a cottage in which his wife-to-be would move in. One day in Siachen, he was trekking up a mountainside carrying a heavy load. When he came to a stop and put his load down, he took the cap off of his head in order to cool down. This caused him to quickly contract hypothermia. What happened was that as soon as he stopped walking up the mountainside, his body stopped producing heat, but his head remained full of sweat. So when he took his cap off, all that sweat was exposed to the extreme cold and his scalp cooled down very much, and he soon succumbed to the hypothermia that this caused. A young man in the prime of his life was thus martyred because of such a simple action, such a simple mistake. What he should have done was, he should have taken the cap off while he was trekking. Then when he came to a stop, he should have immediately put the cap back on. It goes to show that in Siachen, the conditions are so dangerous that such a simple action can cost someone's life. But it also shows that being fully aware of what to do can enable a person to survive. Pakistan's military extensively trains its troops which get sent to Siachen. But the story of the soldier from my village illustrates that in such a place, the training that you need to survive has to encompass all the smallest details. It has to encompass everything about what can happen in a place like that. So if there's going to be an expanding military presence in the mountainous parts of Pakistan, in the high altitude areas, if more troops get sent there, they're going to need to be fully trained and fully educated in how to survive there. They need to receive all the input that they can possibly get. And obviously, Pakistan's military is good at this, but I have a suggestion for the military, and here it is. If it's going to send troops high up to the mountains, it should recruit from the populations which already live in such environments. The societies that inhabit the mountain tops of all the mountains in Pakistan. There are a lot of people who live there, and they have lived there since birth, so they are fully adapted to all the hazards, to the extreme conditions. They are adapted genetically, they are adapted in bodily, they are adapted in their habits, and they are experts in how to survive and how to deal with the conditions there. So they will be a huge asset to our military, which is why we should go and recruit from these societies, and we should enlist them as soldiers or as helpers for our military. Now I know that Pakistan's high altitude populations are small. There are not a lot of people to be recruited as manpower, but as soldiers, but they are a good source of training. One person who is from a high altitude village, he can train 100 other troops better than any colonel from Punjab can in how to live in the high altitude areas, in the high mountains, how to survive there and how to perform your duties there. So there will be effective leaders, effective trainers for all other troops, and they will be the most effective troops themselves. They will need little training by themselves, and they have a lot to contribute. They will also benefit greatly. When we recruit mountain dwellers, we need to make sure that the families they leave behind are supported all the while, and we need to pay them, and this source of income will greatly benefit the alpine communities. Pakistan's mountain societies are marginalized. They live in abject poverty. They live at a subsistence level. Their main source of income otherwise is acting as porters for mountaineering expeditions. If they find an outsized role in our military, it will be an enormous improvement for them, an enormous opportunity for them. It will bring great improvement to their communities, to their territories, and provide them with a steady source of income that will last even after contemporary military confrontations have died down. That's because we will always need someone to guard our borders in the mountains. It will be a great symbiotic relationship. Our mountain dwellers will greatly benefit from the role that our military provides to them, and their service will be an enormous contribution to the defense of our motherland. Thank you.